Bob's Breakfast.
Graham, Mack and Jules. And some name confusion this morning.
It happens. You get people confused sometimes.
It happened. Julie's mum lives in New Zealand, and there's a chain of fitness gyms there called Les Mills World of Fitness. So anyway, she's on the phone to us one day, and she's saying, oh, we went to Les Mills. And I'm like, really? Oh, it was wonderful. I'm thinking, really? Oh, yes. Oh, it was marvellous. It was lovely. And I'm thinking, she's getting really excited about this gym. She'd been to Les Mis. Talking about the days before the internet. Remember the Encyclopedia collection? People used to go door to door selling encyclopedias.
And you'd have to buy them like one at a time because they were expensive, weren't they? People would spend years building up those collections.
Hundreds of pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, all now completely irrelevant.
Yeah.
All the information out of date and available at the touch of a Wikipedia or a Google search.
I feel so sad for people like that spent loads of their earnings and years building up these collections, now that it's totally defunct.
Defunct, that reminds me. Encyclopedias in Australia, because in Britain it was the Encyclopedia Britannica.
Yeah.
That was the one. In Australia it was one called a Funk and Wagnall. It became an expression that in fact it was their slogan, look it up in your Funk and Wagnall. That's what people used to say, and it sounded like you were being insulted, but you weren't. So I'd go, like, where did this come from? What's this all about? And someone would go, yeah, look it up in your Funk and Wagnall. Lost and found stories this morning. Vicky.
My story is I lost my sense of humour. However, I did get it back when I got divorced.
Bob FM.
We're talking about the birth of the internet 25 years ago today, and modern technology, and what you miss about the old days. Pete, you remember those days?
I do used to get out there, and before technology, you could go and hide when you're out on a shopping trip. You could hide. The missus would be shopping, you just sneak off and sort of go and stand outside Rumbalow's window and watch the football results if they were on.
Yeah, but now you get a text. Where are you?
Did you used to go off and just get lost for hours before she'd be able to find you?
Yeah, you could just go and hide. You'd even go in the shop and hide behind the wrestling that was going on there on the TV.
God, I bet you were well annoying, Pete.
Oh, I still am.
Now she can go on that Find My iPhone and she can find out where you're standing.
Track you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Where are you? Come here. I need you to be Gok Wan for 5 minutes and tell me whether I look good in there.
What's your lost and found story? Something or someone you thought that was lost and you got them back. Kelly.
A couple of years ago, I'd gone out for my birthday, came home, woke up in the morning and thought, oh, where's my shoes? Oh, another casualty of a night out. I'd lost my shoes. They were my favourite going out shoes.
Oh, no, but that's what you do. You have to take them off at the end of a night, don't you?
Oh, definitely. You've got to stand there in the kebab shop with your shoes in one hand and the
So
kebab
where did
in
you
the
leave
other.
them?
Well, I had no idea. I couldn't remember, and I thought, oh, okay, then, they're gone. And then a couple of months later, I got a cab home from town. I think I was on another night out, and I remember the cab driver saying to me, oh, did you lose your shoes? And he was like, I've got them in the boot.
No way,
It was the same cab.
Shoes.
Wow.
That's
I was
an
really
amazing
confused
thing.
the next morning.
Brilliant.
Life before we had all this modern technology. Mark.
Things like mobile phones and FaceTime. Before then, you had a normal phone in the house with a cord on it.
Yeah.
And the two things you used to do is, one, you'd have a money box put beside it where your parents just put the money in to pay the bill.
Yeah.
You used to cheek a little bit out of there. And the other thing was, we used to put a lock on it so you couldn't dial it.
What?
So they used to put a lock on number one so you couldn't actually dial the phone.
Really?
So what you should do is, you used to tap the little black bits on top, you used to have to dial a number out.
That's right, you used to tap numbers out. Yeah, so if you wanted to dial, Penketh 5338, which was our number, you had to tap it 5 times, then a pause, then 3 times, then a pause. Yeah, that's how you did it. Tap numbers out.
Yes, as a kid, it's like being a spy.
Yeah, it did. You would tap numbers out. You tap the hang-up bit. What's that called?
Right, the receiver.
No, what's that bit of the phone, that bit there? What's that called?
Oh, I don't know.
That bit there. that, you tap that out. So if you wanted to dial, you go...
Ah, right.
And it would dial the number.
That is so clever.
That's how you got round it, yeah. Yeah. Hey, they don't know they're born now, do they, Mark?
Bob's Breakfast.
Talking about things that have been lost and found, I actually had something show up that I'd actually hidden.
Did you hide it in a very safe place and then forget about the safe place?
It wasn't a safe place, as it turned out. I met Julie in New Zealand. I was living there. And I met her. I'd already booked a holiday back to Britain because the job I was working on had finished. So Julie's dad is a golfer. So he says to me, "You're going over to Britain?" And I'm like, yeah. "Oh, there's a golf club I'd really like if you could pick it up for me. That'd be brilliant." I'm like, "Okay." Yeah. So he said, "It's a ping answer 2 putter." I know nothing about golf, but I'll never... Anyway, so I found this golf shop in Warrington.
I suppose you want to impress the new...
Of course I do.
Girlfriend's dad,
yeah, they
don't
talk
you?
about brownie points. So I'm thinking, if I can come back with this golf club...
You're going to be like the dude.
Of course. So I go into this golf shop I know nothing about, and the salesman says, "I want a ping answer 2, made of beryllium copper as well, by the way."
Was he making this up? Was this like tartan paint and the work experience?
This was a genuine thing. Anyway, the bloke said, "Oh, we don't sell many of them. We haven't got one actually in stock." I said, "Tell you what we have got. We've just got, this is amazing. This is a Palm Springs putter." And I'm like, "Right?" And then he said, "No, this is twice the golf club that the ping thing is. This is the one. This is the hot golf club. In fact, you're lucky I've still got one." And he really starts laying it on thick. Yeah. And then he offers me this amazing discount, and I think, well, this sounds like a great deal. So I buy it and think, this will be even better. I'll take him back an even better one.
Okay, yeah.
So I get this. So I'm on the phone from a phone box actually one night.
Old school.
Yeah, and
putting in the 20p's.
Pound coins.
Zealand.
Yeah, pound coins.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was about 20 quid, I think, this phone call.
Wow.
Anyway, so our dad's in the background, he goes, "Oh, you put him on." So all right, so he said, "Yeah." He says, "How'd you go with that golf club?" I said, "I tell you what, I've really struck gold here. I found a better one. I found this Palm Springs." "No, I don't like them."
No, and you'd already bought it.
Yeah, so I didn't tell him I'd already bought it. I said I'd found it. I didn't say I'd already bought it. So what am I going to do now? I don't know. So I was staying with my parents. So I hid it in the loft. I thought, I don't know, I'd just forget about it. Stuck it in the loft. So a couple of years later, I've moved to New Zealand and I'm getting married to Julie.
Yeah.
So my parents fly out for the wedding. Actually, the first time, coincidentally, they'd met Julie and her parents is when they flew out for the wedding.
Yeah.
They fly out for the wedding. My old man shows up at Julie's parents' house with this blinking golf club. He goes, "Hey, I heard you're a golfer, so I got you this golf club." And I thought, you lying git, you found that in the loft. How tough life was before the internet, Danny?
When I was 16, which was 25 years ago,
Yeah.
I joined the British Gas as an apprentice.
Yes.
And to find any parts and part numbers, we had a microfiche.
Oh, it looks like a TV monitor, but it was film.
Plates of glass.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, microfiche. We used to use it when I was a pipe fitter in construction. We used to find parts that way as well.
Hang on, so it looks like a TV?
Looks like it, but it's actually...
Looks like a TV.
It's a
Very
projector,
grey.
really. Yeah.
Bit like the old BBC computer.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, so
yeah.
you type stuff in?
No, you didn't type stuff in. You put
No, there's no keyboard.
You put a thing in it, which was...
Bit of plastic. It was a blue bit of plastic that had white marks on it.
And it was
you put
microfilm.
Underneath it had a magnifying glass.
Yeah, and you turned it and scrolled along all these lists of parts and part numbers. Yeah.
That's right, yeah.
Wow. God, that must have taken ages.
Well, no, you never found the right part anyway. And they were never in the right order.
But
They
it
were
was-
all just thrown everywhere.
It seemed so advanced, though, didn't it? This is microfilm. This is the future.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
And it was called the Microfiche. Yeah.
Microfiche. I don't know what the plural is, whether they're microfi or microfishes.
Well, they're extinct now, so it doesn't matter, does it?
That's right, yeah, that's back on with the dinosaurs.
Yeah. Danny, thank you so much.
All right, thanks, Ram.
It's the brand new Bob FM. We're all having to get used to saying the new name, even out in the office, you know, when salespeople that answer the phone, sometimes, just as a pure reflex action, they've answered the phone using the old name of this radio station. So now, if you do that, no matter where it is in the building, whether you're on the radio or not, there's a £1 fine, and the £1 goes into the charity box. So that, because we've just got to get it out of our system. For all this time, we've been the other name. And now we are Bob FM. Good morning, Emma.
I'm sure I've caught you saying Jack this morning, though.
No, stop it. I only did it once, and it was like half a word. For goodness
You
sake.
did it. You said the whole word.
No, it was a Jack, and then I caught myself. It was not the whole word. That doesn't count.
Yes, it does. Put a pound in that.
All right, I'll put a pound in the charity box. All right, thank you very much, Emma.
Bob's Breakfast.
Tony Benn died.
Yeah, I saw this. Sad news.
Yeah, I was mentioning that I interviewed him a couple of years ago, so he was well into his senior years. So over the weekend I went back and I listened to the interview, and I'd forgotten that I'd actually asked him about death.
Oh, did you?
Yes.
I can't say I'm very worried about death. My grandmother, a Scots lady, when she was very old and ill, and I was a little boy of 8, I sat by her bed and I was afraid she was going to die. And she sat up and she said something I've never forgotten. She said, "The great thing about your last journey is you don't have to pack." and somehow that's just about sums it up.
It's a name mix-up. There have been some classics, and I found one on YouTube. Have a look at this, Jules. Let me just push play on here. I won't put the sound up. But that's Dex's Midnight Runners on Top of the Pops.
Yeah.
And the song is Jackie Wilson Said.
Okay.
It's a tribute to the soul singer, Jackie Wilson. Now, can you see at the back of the Top of the Pops set, there's a big black and white picture on a screen of a face of a big, fat, white man. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Do you know who that is?
No.
That's Jockey Wilson, the dart player. Whoever it was on Top of the Pops hadn't done their research that well.
Oi, work experience kid, can you get me a picture, please? I need Jackie Wilson.
That went out to about 8 million people. And I don't know whether Dex's Midnight Runners knew that that picture was going on behind them. But classic
cock-up.
Things you've had confiscated. Mark.
While I was at school, one of my friends was drawing something, and I was trying to make it look like it was something else. My teacher caught us, took us to the headmaster. When questioned about it, I said, "Well, it's a rocket crashing between two mountains." he obviously wasn't happy with that. He told us to empty our bags.
Yes.
My friend got his fags confiscated.
Yes.
And you know, remember the old tape recorders you used to get, the cassette ones?
Yeah.
I had one of those, and my friend had thought it funny at the time to stop it at a certain point on this record, where he used to be a comedian, where he spells out something beginning with the word W, stopped it there, and had put it on full pelt. So when my headmaster turned it on, it said the word, then I got the game.
Now, your chance to win tickets to Cineworld in Stevenage by guessing what movie this scene we're acting out comes from. This was a big movie.
Yeah, this was huge. I don't think we can give too many clues. We can give our names.
Characters' names, yeah.
Yeah. I'm Neville, and you're Anna.
Okay, and I start this one off. The world is quieter now. We just have to listen. If we listen, we can hear God's plan.
God's plan.
Yeah.
All right, let me tell you about your God's plan. 7 billion people on Earth when the infection hit. KV had a 90% kill rate. That's 5.4 billion people dead, crashed and bled out, dead. Less than 1% immunity. That left 12 million healthy people like you, me and Ethan. The other 588 million turned into your dark seekers. And then they got hungry, and then they killed and fed on everybody. Everybody, every single person that you or I has ever known is dead. Dead. There is no God.
So,
God,
you think, you know...
I impressed myself there.
Kelly's on the phone. What film was it, Kelly?
Is it Noah?
Did you say I Am Legend? No.
No, is that wrong?
I thought you said I Am Legend, Kelly.
I thought you said I Am Legend.
Yeah.
No, it's Noah. Is that wrong?
I'm sure you said I Am Legend.
Sure, isn't that what you just said, Kelly? Didn't you just say I Am Legend?
Yeah.
You're good at this game! You've got yourself tickets to Cineworld in Stevenage!
Bob's Breakfast.
Chris Hubbard has your news.
3 policemen in Pakistan who were meant to be guarding the Prime Minister's home have been suspended for negligence after a cat ate one of his peacocks. They were on duty that night, but just didn't expect a cat to jump in and eat the peacock.
You've got to be, you know, you can't trust cats. Much as I love them and have 2 cats, they're not to be trusted. They're very sneaky, very devious
They've
animals.
always got something going on in their mind, haven't they?
They have. I mean, you know the poet Thomas Hardy. When he died, they wanted to have his remains put in Poets' Corner in Westminster Abbey. But there's a place in Dorset that was his home. I forget where it was. His wishes were he wanted to be buried there. So as a compromise, they decided they'd put his heart in this town in Dorset.
Nice.
Yeah, that was the plan. But unfortunately, the heart was left on his sister's kitchen bench, and a cat jumped up and ate it. Thomas Hardy's, the poet Thomas Hardy, his remains are in Poets' Corner in Westminster Abbey.
Yeah.
But his heart was eaten by his sister's cat.
Bob's Breakfast.
It's Graham Mack this morning, and it's the end of 2 weeks of the new name for this radio station, Bob. How are we doing? What do you reckon, Simon?
Bob?
What?
Why Bob?
Because it's
Right
a
with
great
Mac.
name. You tell me. I mean, okay, which to you is friendlier? Bob the Builder or Jack the Ripper? Yes,
good
you see,
question, actually.
Bob
yeah.
is a friendly name. You, Simon, you find me one nasty Bob. There aren't any. No.
I
Must try
hard.
hard.
A job going for sales, advertising sales.
Have we?
Well, on your website, Jackie Bratt.
Yeah, Jackie, yeah.
I'm just emailing her now.
Are you really?
I'm desperate for a job, and I've sold advertising space before.
Come on, then, pitch me. You've just arrived at my business. I'm selling widgets. You're from Bob FM, and you're trying to sell us some advertising. Let's hear your pitch.
Have you ever thought about radio advertising to improve your market space?
Radio advertising's too expensive. We do a bit with the paper.
But have you ever worked out how much it actually costs compared to, for example, local printed media advertising?
No, we don't do that kind of thing. Look, I don't think we can afford radio advertising. It's very expensive.
Well, if I told you that the basic package was only £350 for 10 adverts, how would you take that?
Actually, that sounds pretty good, but will 10 adverts work?
Well, it could be a taster and see, we could just monitor if you get any additional leads as a result of people listening to your advert, which we can put together for you.
Hey, Simon, you're pretty good at this.
Thank you.
All right. Get your stuff off to Jackie, and hopefully we'll let you know.
I will.
All right, cheers, Simon.
Bye.
Thank you. So he starts off not sure about Bob, and then he tries to sell it to me. What a salesman!
It's Bob. It's Bob.
Yeah, I feel like a fraud this morning.
Well, what's going on?
I've cheated at Twitter.
How do you cheat at Twitter?
Well, what I've been doing, since we became Bob FM, anyone that started following us on Twitter, I've started following them.
On Bob?
No, on my... You know, I got my Twitter.
Yeah.
And then there's Bob's Twitter.
Oh, anyone that started following us on Bob, you've taken them?
Yes, I've just followed them.
Right.
And one guy, I don't know, I just go click, 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 all the ones that are following. It's about, I don't know, 30 or 40 a day, something like that.
Yeah.
And click, 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 click. I'm not even looking at who they are or anything about them. So this one guy, he tweets me back in English and says, thanks for the follow. Not sure why you're following me. Do you speak Arabic? And so I looked at all his previous tweets, and apart from that one, they're all in Arabic.
Oh, brilliant.
It's Arabic squiggles.
Yeah.
So, here's where I cheated. I went to, you know, that Google Translate?
Yeah.
I went there and I wrote, of course I speak Arabic. Translated it and then cut and pasted the Arabic squiggle into the thing.
Did he reply?
Yeah, but I don't know what he said. Jim.
A little while ago, a few months ago, through the power of predictive text from my wife, that Alan Wesker had died. I wasn't too sure if it was the guy who set up the cat food empire, or
Yes.
whether it was a genuine text mistake.
Alan Wesker. Obviously she meant Alan Wicker.
She did indeed. It wasn't
did like
David
it.
Frost. Yeah.
He liked his little fishy treats, though, didn't he, Alan Wesker?
Oh, he did, yeah. Yeah, just a saucer of milk in a corner, he was well away, didn't matter which country.
Here with the saucer of milk is where I find myself daily.
With certain other charge cards I could mention, I can get any variety of feline kibble.
Darren's on the phone. Jules, I've no idea what he's going on about. But he really is passionate about... Hang on, let me put him through. Yeah, Darren, so, yeah, you were saying?
No, I heard it on the radio and everything.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing, like, yeah, and I got quite a bit of response from that as well.
Yeah, what was it?
People around the town that had heard it.
Yeah.
And greet her at number 50, that is basically been acting as the secretary, because she's got all the computer and all the latest gadgets.
Yeah, yeah.
She has actually had a response from somebody at the council. She came round and showed me on a Wombat smartphone, like, yeah.
Yeah, that is good news, yeah.
Yeah, they've actually talked about the double glazing and this.
I knew they would, because they had to in the end, didn't they? I mean, you know, because it was quite a campaign, really.
Yeah, but it's taken all this time.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I mean, it's been going for some 5-6 weeks now, like,
Yeah.
You know, and the council have always, like, had no comment.
Yeah.
And the Welling Times, like, wouldn't give us a reason as to why they wouldn't run the story.
Yeah, oh, wow.
So it was all like, sort of like up in the air for a while.
Yeah.
It weren't until taken and all the rubbish that they had collected was thrown out onto the main road.
Yeah.
Which was an eyesore, and that was picked up within 24 hours. So.
Oh, was it? Okay, so things are moving along then since you got in touch with Bob. That's good to know.
Oh, yeah, exactly that. Like, well, I was hoping the same sort of response from Welling Times after they sent a photographer and everything.
Yeah, well, you never know with them, though, yeah.
But as I say, we have had some response. I mean, it's obviously all the responses, will go to greet her, you know, because she's the one doing all the emails and everything.
Well, yeah, because that's important. Word of mouth is one thing, but word of mouse is also important, isn't it?
Well, exactly. I mean, but as for them sending Serco round, like, to tidy up this street, like, I mean, that doesn't look like it's going to happen at all. So,
well, thank goodness for Greta and her smartphone.
Yes. Let's hear it for Greta, shall we? Greta, thanks so much. Tattoos you regret. What's your story, Kelly?
It's a tattoo story of my own, although I do have one, and I bunked off school when I was about 15.
Well, let's quickly get your story then.
Well, I've got one. I bunked off school. I was supposed to take my brother to school for the day, and we just jumped on the bus, went to St Albans, and I had a tattoo.
What did you get?
I got, like, some little roses on my back, so it's not massive or anything like that.
At 15?
My mum didn't find out till the day I was in labour with my first child.
Wow!
So the anaesthetist was putting, like, the thing in. She went, have you actually got a temporary tattoo put on for labour?
Yeah, Mum, I've had it for 10 years.
Mum. No, Mum, it's real. I couldn't believe it. After all that time, she actually got the ump with me because I had a tattoo.
Well, you're giving her a grandchild.
Yeah.
And what's this about?
I can't believe you've done that. Mum, it's the least of my problems right now.
And what's this about your ex as well?
Yeah. So we both kind of rung each other in the day and said, I've got something to talk to you about tonight. I was like, yeah, I've got something to talk about as well. So I said, you go first. It's always better if they do it first if you want to do it. And he showed me his tattoo on his back. And it was like, Kelly is a knockout with a pair of boxing gloves.
Wow, that's
and I was like,
big.
He was like, what did you want to say? I was like, nothing. Don't worry. And I had to leave it maybe another month before I dumped him.
No, because he just had that tattoo.
You wanted to tell him.
Yeah.
Oh, he'd had your name indelibly marked on his body, and you're giving him the heave-ho.
What a fool!
Bob's Breakfast.